Hello.
Oh, Amy, what you
Hi, how
doing?
are you?
Donna says she's ready for some cookie therapy.
I've had three people message me in the last 5 minutes that said, "When's cookie therapy?" I'm like, "We're coming, we're coming. We'll be right there." How is
We're on our
everybody?
way.
Hi,
Oh,
June.
hi, June. So you guys can let us know where you're from. We do a little roll call usually at the beginning there. Just say hey to everybody.
Hey, Allison.
Hello, Nadia.
I thought I had the volume turned off. I hope y'all aren't hearing that.
Well, welcome everybody. Today should be a fun one.
Yes,
So,
I think they're going to have a good time.
so let's just clarify, we are not responsible for your credit cards.
We are totally confessing to being enablers. We take no responsibility for how much money you spend. Just saying, right?
Exactly.
We also are not taking any responsibility for the products you choose to buy. We're just showing you things that we like and found at good deals, right?
Or the fights you might have with your husband.
Yeah, you guys definitely need to get a second shipping address. We're just warning you right now. When these packages start rolling in, it could get to some interesting discussions.
Thank you, Donna. So let me just thank, last week there were quite a few stars sent, so thank you very much.
Look
Thank
at
you.
that.
There's
You guys
another
are
page
great.
open. Thank you. I launched on YouTube the membership. They offer it there too. So Rhonda's new to the YouTubers. That's like new. If YouTube's your place, that's the thing with social media. Everybody has their preferred location. So
That's
if at any
cool.
point you want to rewatch the live stream, we save it. It's on Facebook and on YouTube, and you can rewatch it at your leisure. And here, let's just, Amy, do you want to, before we start, do you want to just mention your class?
Yes. Bella Fairy's the companion piece to the gnome home that I taught in Cookieathon this weekend. And her live virtual class is this Sunday, 3/21, 3 p.m. It'll be housed through our Facebook group. And that is the website right there, seriouslysweetcupcakes.com. If you guys want to jump in, there is a template in there. So don't worry about getting your cutter in time. You probably have most of the supplies. So if you want to join us this weekend, Bella Fairy is going to be taught on Sunday at 3 p.m. I expect her to take about an hour and a half, 2 hours, maybe.
And then is it saved, the video?
Yes, it'll be saved on the private Facebook group for as long as Facebook exists. Now, of course, I'm leery of all things technology. So I know I saw Allison. So I've been downloading a lot of the tutorial videos just so they don't get lost. So I'm filling up flash drives. So if something ever does happen to Facebook, we'll just pop it into another platform of some sort,
Yeah,
right?
put it in the comments. She's asking for the link for your class there. Just type it in the comments, Amy. So today what we're doing is, I often talk about Aliexpress, and some people ask, what is Aliexpress? So Aliexpress is, just for lack of a better explanation, kind of an Amazon or kind of an eBay, and it's Asian market. And so the site has a translator and translates to a lot of, like here in Quebec, it's French and English. I can navigate the site in either language. And so you can pick your country. Here's the thumbnail. So you can pick your country. See, I have Canada, English, and then I even pick my currency. And then you can type in whatever it is that you're looking for. And so this is basically, you're cutting out the middleman. So in some cases, you're dealing directly with the wholesaler. So the other option of AliExpress is called Alibaba, and Alibaba sells only in multiple lots. So you have to buy 100 or 50 of a thing, but you can order samples and they don't need to know that you're not going to be buying 100.
I think somebody got some airbrushes that way. Wasn't that you?
Yes, that's what I did. I ordered 3 samples and then they never heard from me again. So
look, I also don't forget Wish, because did Nadine show up? Nadine Nadine was one of the first people I enabled with Ali and Wish. But Marlyn is really the root cause of Ali. I found Aliexpress through Marlyn and Wish. Someone else told me about Wish, I think. But boy, aren't they great?
I mean, there's a lot of, it really depends. Like right now with the pandemic, of course, things are a bit different. But I have to tell you, sometimes I'm shocked at how quick it actually is. It's certainly not a, Amazon Prime situation, but if Christmas is coming, Christmas is coming. So if you're shopping for Santa cookie cutters, well, you can do it now. Like I bought my Easter stuff eons ago, and I actually paid a mold I'm going to show 60 cents. That now, because it's a little bit more in demand, it's Easter, it's up to $3. So you can shop in advance. So I'm just going to show the first thing now because I'm worried the battery's going to die.
Yes, let's jump in. Look at this, you guys.
So this is the first thing. So I ordered this projector. I was looking online, and in Canada, things are not always easy to get. And so they were pricey. So here the shipping was $2. It was 154. That's Canadian dollars. I said, oh, I'm going to give it a shot. Why not? And so here it is. I'm going to put this screen in. Let's do the camera dance. There it is.
Okay.
So if you watched me before and kind of like my preferred method, I usually like to transfer on the cookie with a stencil that I make. And I'm just going to show a quick video that I uploaded. So this is me drawing on my tablet. I'm quickly drawing my bunny guidelines. So I take a picture with my tablet of the cookie and I draw right on the photo and I do my little whatever it is. And that creates the template, which is this, okay? So then I have these black outlines. And so if you know anything about stencil design, you have to have all your lines kind of be broken so that there's something that holds that together. If all the lines connect, well, it's all going to fall out, right? So you need to have bridges, they're called, I think, to hold that together. So now this is the actual projection of the design. And I'm going on my phone here and I'm making it like kind of bigger. I'm just going to nudge the phone over and you can see now, instead of having a stenciled image on the cookie, well, you have a projection of the design that I drew onto the cookies. Like this is, I guess, the most common transfer of your template on your cookie technique that I've seen.
And Mark, did you say you're going to do a video showing separately at another time, just showing that in your cookie school?
Yes,
I'll show works with it.
But there's a few things. So when you're piping, you cannot move that cookie. That cookie is locked in place. So if you would feel more comfortable, being like working on that side, well, you can't move his head over closer to you. He's got to be laying exactly like that. Then when you're piping, well, look now, I'm blocking the projection onto the, like I can't see it. So it's not my preferred way, but, some people, this is what they swear by. My icing is on the old side here to just kind of show you, but you're just kind of trying to follow the line, right? I'm just going to do it like this is not a real decorating tutorial. Please don't judge me by this. But you see, and then I find also that the projection is still shining on the piped line, and that messes with my brain. Whereas when it's stenciled, I'm hiding the airbrush and I kind of can like visually check mark what's done.
Right.
So this is what a projector does, and it can be a little finicky with like having the image fit exactly and then having it. Sometimes you need to flip it going, vertical or horizontal, and there's a bit of fiddling, but basically that's it. And I just want to show here, let me move the projector. I just tilt this away just to show you here. I have the stencil made and you can kind of see how much like it just is instantaneous there on the cookie. And if you don't have an airbrush, well, you can come in with a marker and quickly kind of add your guidelines. You could do that with a projection as well. I've seen some people, that's what they do actually. Where's the projector now?
Did you see this question?
No, I can't see the questions.
What software did you use to make the lines on the picture of your cookie? She's actually demoing a projector right now. Was that the question?
So the drawing is with Procreate. So you can draw like that, you see? But again, I find that it's like you're doing something twice when coming in with the marker, having to trace everything. I think the airbrush is just such a fast way, and the lines are pristine and perfect. The drawing is, I usually always do it with Procreate, but if you don't have a tablet and you don't have Procreate, you can draw on paper, outline it with a black Sharpie, and then take a picture of it. And then once you have your black line, that actually can be used to cut a stencil.
Yeah. Do you use the projector very often? I usually only use it when I'm doing names.
I don't even use it for that. I don't use it at all. I am showing it because I know it's something that people are interested in. So like, this is the one I opted for. There's so many different models. This one's negative. A lot of them have like a little hole to kind of screw in a holder to have it in the in the tripod or on the mount. Whereas this one doesn't have any kind of like orifice to insert some sort of something. I was thinking of crazy gluing it to one of my tripod like holders, and it's really light. This thing is tiny. Let me take it off now that I'm done using it. I'll show it on the camera here how small it is. I mean,
how do we get back to you? There we go.
Look at how small.
Oh, that is tiny. That probably doesn't weigh anything.
It weighs nothing. It weighs nothing. And you can use it. Let's say you have children. You could do like a little kind of camping night and do like project their movies on the wall. You know, if you do like a couch tent and use, you can project little things like that, or even outside because it's wireless. But it's not my preferred method. This is my preferred method. Like if you've watched me, this is kind of what I do. I find that this is the fastest. But I mean, if you look at the projector, $150, and then you get the small portrait like cutter, that's like $199, and you can do so much with it. After, it's not just stencils you can cut, you can actually make so many things. I'm rattling on. Where's our time? So 15 minutes on the projector. That's enough with the projector.
I'll talk fast, so you take your time. My things are all like little $1 things. So
let me just look here fast. So she's asking, can you get yes, the line was actually very good. It was very good.
Yep.
Like I have no criticism with regards to that. Hello, Julie. And hello from Brazil, but that's about all I'm getting. Projector is best. I mean, really, it's all personal preference. It's like, people that swear by Coke or Pepsi, right? I mean, for me, if you look at the money that you're going to put down for each thing, they're comparable in price. The projector, all you're going to do is project images with it. Whereas the cutting machine, you can do 150 things. You can make sticker decals to put on your wall and decorate your kitchen. World's Best Baker. You can make aprons. You can make T-shirts. You can do crafts with your kids. I mean, a silhouette and a Cricut is infinite crafting possibilities. If you're one of these people that likes to make stuff, it's an invaluable, like this tool is, there's without compare.
My wish list is that iPhone turns the phone, puts an app on there to use for a projector, like a true projector, not the workarounds, but like, all the cameras are there. They could easily do that. So get to work on that.
You see, she draws with the pen, and then
it really messes with my eyesight and whether something's done or not if I'm trying to ice over and use just the projector. So that's actually what I do.
Yeah, and sometimes
I have to mark stuff.
Well, if the room's not dark enough.
Yes.
Different things. Anyway, it's enough with the projector, but that's basically what a projector is if you've never seen one. And
now, as far as which brand is better, you guys, really, you should jump onto YouTube and just start looking at all of them because they all do something different. They all cost a different price. Some are wireless, some are plug-in, some have better battery life. You've really just got to get on there and look and see what's going to work for you.
And then there's actually videos people have of like they're like doing like a bunch, you know, comparing them against each other. So you can maybe look at that. Sweet Hope Cookies, I think, did a video with a few different models.
Yeah, several of the big American cookie people have done projector comparisons in the last 6 months.
Oh yeah.
So I'm sure if you just Google it, you'll see like 6 in one video.
So Amy, I'm going to go fast and then okay, we'll pass it on. So the next thing here, I've taken screenshots of each thing. I'm going to go from the bottom here. I talked about this thing here. So this is a mold, a silicone mold, and on AliExpress you're going to find a lot of the silicone molds. Silicone molds, North American market, are sometimes $20 a piece. I literally paid for this one 65 cents. Okay, right now. That's the price right now because it's a hot item. In these sites, prices sometimes will vary due to like, it's the same on Amazon, mind you. When something's hot, the price does increase, right?
Right.
So here,
you know what's great for me about AliExpress is because I teach those monthly cookie classes.
Oh, yes.
I have a schedule of roughly what we're going to do each month in theme. And so when I jump on there and they have a 60-cent silicone mold, I just snap up however many I think I'm going to need for that class.
Exactly. So this is,
they're gone. I love those.
And these are great cookie size, right? Because you don't need like a huge thing. So here's a little knit one. Here, this wood grain, look how nice it is.
And
this
those first two you just showed, Mar, those work great with glaze icing. So if anybody's on here that works strictly in glaze, I've tried them both in glaze. They work great.
So this is this embroidery business, you know, that a lot of people do. So this is the mat for it. This I've seen, if I'm not mistaken, was $20. And so it's $2.50. And this is Canadian dollars. My thing was set at Canadian dollars. So that's less 30 cents on every dollar. The American dollar is like, I think 70 cents or something like that. So, and the shipping, $1.34. They don't gouge you with the shipping. Like,
right. And a lot of them, if you get in one shop, do you do this, Mara? If you get in one shop when you're on Wish and then look through everything in their shop, once you hit not Wish, I mean AliExpress, once you're in there, if you do a certain dollar amount, they knock all the shipping off. There's several fondant mold people that if you get to $50, there's no shipping.
So here's the Easter one, and I actually made them over here. I'll just show. So this is the lamb head. And so here, in this case, sometimes you're not good at faces. So you can do the body quickly in royal icing and then pop the head on. Or you can make these, and then look, these are, I had used these when we did another, remember that fondant cookie I did for Valentine's Day?
Yes.
Look at these
scrolls. Someone is asking if they say they're food safe. So here's the thing on the fondant molds from research. They're food safe for contact. When you need to be concerned is if you're going to bake in them. There are only certain ones that are safe for baking because that heats up. That's really the trick there.
So if you guys type silicone molds, I mean, you're going to be on for a full day.
Yeah, take a whole day.
Silicone molds. Next, the stencil holder, if you've ever shopped around for that, quite expensive. So
didn't you already drop the link somewhere? Several of them are asking where the links are, but I think you posted that on Instagram this morning, right?
No, the links are in the group.
In the Cookie School group?
Yeah.
Okay.
So, but if you type whatever the item, you'll find 50 vendors for each thing. So here, let's just look at the actual stencil holders. So here is the Stencil Genie, I guess it's called. And you can see this one is small. Like, you know, like let's bring back the bunny guy. You see, like this would be tricky to use with this, right? And even this one here, it's a big cookie. You have to put it in sideways. But this is, I think, 1/10 of the price, right? Right.
Absolutely.
It's the same thing. It's just a bit smaller.
And the fancier those get, the more expensive they get.
Yes. This one here is, I mean, that's with the shipping I think the highest shipping I saw was $2.50. So really, affordable. What's Jeremy saying? I'm concentrated. I missed his humor today.
Jeremy said he wants to do the we're glad you made it, Jeremy. We figured you were late because of time change. He wants to do the cross stitch thing, but the molds are pretty pricey. But that one she just showed us is not at all. I mean, even with the shipping, it's $4.
Yeah, that's Canadian dollars, Jeremy.
So it'll be a little less for us, right?
This one. Next,
someone else is saying they're lost in alley land now. So someone did ask me this question though, Mar. They wanted to know, they sent me a message when we said we were going to do this and said that they get a headache because they go in there and they load all this stuff up and then there's all these different vendors in their cart. But here's the thing about Ali and Wish. Load up everything you want and then go look to see, like search under fondant molds, find everything you want, drop it in your cart, then go to the cart and look and see where things came together. And then go back, because for maybe $5 with one vendor, you've just erased all your shipping fees if you spend $5 more. So look where the other stuff you wanted came from and then go into that store specifically and search for it. And you can probably I just move stuff around until I have a cart enough that I don't have to pay for shipping. So there's tricks, but you do have to be patient. It's not something you should do at the last minute. You're not going to get it quickly. It's a
little like shopping at TJ Maxx.
Right.
TJ Maxx is not as convenient as shopping at the high-end store where everything is together and pretty.
Right.
A little bit rummaging in the discount bin, but you can find some great deals. So this mat here is, again, it's a different than the other one.
Jeremy, you see this one from Jeremy? That's probably why he's asking, because of this particular mold.
So this is the one that's done with like that edible fabric, and you press it in. Like, this is so big that I can't even get it on the screen.
The camera.
The whole size of a placemat. And here's a cookie to show you what it kind of looks like. So inside here is that mesh.
They're not seeing that. How do I get that up? How do I get that?
It's because the picture's hiding. There.
Oh, there we go.
Here's the mesh that it creates inside the cookie here. You see? And then inside that, you can come in and add your dots to do your little dot art, type thing to create your design. So if you look at the price of this, like this, I've seen $40.
Yes, that mat in the US, I've seen it $45 just 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, so there's that. Next, I want to talk about stencils. So if you've got stencils, here, let me take that picture away. So if we look at a stencil, I mentioned before, when you're making stencils, it needs bridges to hold together. Like if you have little holes, well, like you see all these little dots, if this was a continuous line, well, it would just fall out. And then when things are like really continuous, sometimes it makes it fragile. When you're spatulating, things can fold up. It's just a different thing to work with than this. So this is called a silk screen stencil. Now, what is this?
We are being enablers. They're saying we're being enablers today. You're right. We are. We warned you not to watch this episode. This is going to turn into something.
So this is super fine mesh, like a veil kind of a thing. And then there's this stuff called an emulsion fluid that they coat this in. Then they do a UV treatment. And so then it kind of cooks the areas that were exposed to light. And then they shoot it with water. And the water then is washed away from what was protected from the light. And that's how they create these. And people hack them with the silhouette. They'll put the plastic from their silhouette on top of regular mesh. But this, you can buy them made, and they come in all kinds of designs. Now, this one here, I actually cut it because they're made for cake. And this one also, I cut it because they make them for cake, but for cookies, you need smaller. And so you can see here the nice plaid. Where's my picture to show you?
Well, can you answer these two real quick? Because then I can go down in the feed. So they're asking about piping royal icing into silicone molds. Here's the thing about that. Straight royal icing, yeah, you can probably put it in there. It'll dry out. But when it dries out, they break really easy coming out of these molds. So that's not really what they're for. They work great. There is like, what's it called? It's like a royal icing putty that you make where you get it stiffer. That works okay, but that's still really not the best thing in these. So using like a marshmallow fondant, a homemade marshmallow fondant that tastes good, using what's the other stuff? The modeling chocolate, Mar. And
so Amy, if you were to put a big blob of royal icing, it wouldn't taste good either.
No, and not if it was on a cookie, right? It's too much, but they
So,
break. I did try it because I did a small demo on this for one of my classes. You can do it, but they have to be so big, they become solid and then they're really not edible. It's not pleasing to eat them at all.
and
Oh,
and
yes, someone else, look.
forever to dry.
Yeah, and it does. It takes like 4 days. It's not a quick thing. And someone's saying they paid so much for that other mat you just showed.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
it's very expensive in the US right now, that mat. And someone else would like to know, that is, you are not using royal icing in that lace mat, right? You're going to tell them about that?
This one?
No, the lace mat that you showed, that
Oh,
question was
no, 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 no. That's not royal icing. That is edible fabric that you use with that. It's
like isn't it called frost?
I have it here. It's called Flex Frost.
Okay.
Flex Frost. That's what it's called.
Okay.
Okay. So this here you can use with airbrush, or you can stencil with it. The thing about this though, like I do like it, but it's tough for aligning because you can't see. It's like surprisingly, like it's translucent, and as soon as it does get pigment collected on it when you're airbrushing, it can be tricky to use. You have to airbrush quite close, quite hard for the pigment to get through. But it does work well with a toothpaste kind of thickish royal icing because it will smear. But then once it's coated with the royal icing, again, can be tricky to realign on your next cookie.
Do you see Laura's question? Do you see that?
This?
Yes.
Wait, what? Is the mesh like a stencil screen and a stencil together? Yes, it's like you see the white areas in this? Well, that's mesh. But everything that's brownish, this kind of brown burgundy, whatever color, will be white. It will be shielded from the airbrush. Everything that is white is a mesh where the color can actually go through and go to the cookie. So it's a stencil where all these little, like if you look at the flower compared to the other stencil, there's no bridges.
Right.
Where can I? You see, there's no bridge. The lines are all continuous. There is no bridges. The bridges are the mesh. And so it just gives like this look that it was drawn and it's just perfect. And it's just a different product.
What's that under if they search for that? Should they be searching for silkscreen stencils?
That's what they're called. Silkscreen, or they'll call them here. Let's see what the description has on it. It says cloth mold mesh stencil cake lace.
Gotcha. Hi, Joseph. We just wanted to say hello to you.
So this here, I have to say, is probably the most expensive of the AliExpress things that I've seen. You might want to do a deep dive to find maybe some, better deals. I did. Right. They're very expensive purchase here. It's like one of these high-end kind of tools, but they're just fun. It's kind of a different thing to have in your toolkit if you're so inclined.
So guys, what I was saying was marshmallow fondant. You'll find some recipes online for that, and modeling chocolate is great because then when you bite into that, it tastes like chocolate. It's chocolate, so it tastes like chocolate. It's sweet. It's not too hard. Just be very careful if you're in a warm climate or humid climate. If you try to use that in the summertime, that's when I switched to using fondant because I don't let any cookies go out of here with modeling chocolate in the summer. They deteriorate in about a minute.
So this is a tipless bag. If you watch cookie decorating videos, some people will put a piping tip and a coupler on their piping bag, and then there's tipless bags. So this is a bag where you don't need a coupler and you don't need a piping tip. You just cut the end of the plastic and pipe away. You cannot use really thick icing with this. It's a thinner plastic. I would compare the plastic to a grocery bag. And so there are a lot of sellers that sell the tipless bags on AliExpress. Even the ones sold on Amazon or different things have Chinese writing on them. So they're, and very good. I've not had any issues. I order them usually. I'll order a huge batch and just put them away. This is something that lasts forever. So there's that. Here's another thing that I get a lot of.
When you order bags, Mar, how many do you order at a time?
I'll usually order like 3 of each size. So you see it comes large, middle, middle and small there, medium. And so I'll order like, 3 of each and then have them kind of,
Yeah, you cannot make that lace pattern with royal icing. It will definitely break. And Joseph's here. I just wanted to make sure you saw him. He's
Hi,
the one with
Hello.
the really long streak, right?
That's it. So this is the turntable you occasionally maybe see me using in the videos. So this has some bad reviews on some sites. It's just because people aren't reading the description. It's a very small turntable. It's 12 centimeters, I think. It's like 5.5 inches, 6 inches across, cookie size. And so people see, and they just assume it's a cake turntable. And so that's usually where the bad review comes from, because it's just a little cute thing. I mean, it's very, it's not, it's kind of
advertised as cake, but it's really for cookie, right? It's really cookie size.
Exactly. If you look at the cookie here, let me pop it on. This cookie is 5.5 inches tall. You see, he fits perfectly on there. And then it just makes it easy to work. You can kind of twirl them around.
Look, here's another fellow Ali person with us, Miss Sheila. She has most of these things. So I'm going to guess you're probably an enabler too.
I have 2 more to show. So here, this was a find. I ordered them all. I saw the seller and I said, oh, I can't even decide. So I just ordered them all. If you look at the shipping, I mean, look, I just, like I say, I ordered them all. Here they are. This is 2 versions of it.
Yes.
This one here is maybe small, but it could be paired with like Franken cookie where he's holding the plaque kind of on top of the cookie, like you could put it like this, and have him like holding a little sign that says Happy Easter or something.
Yes.
But I mean, at $2,
some of those would be really good bases too for 2D cookies. And by the way, thank you. I ordered all of those this morning. I already ordered them, and some of them I thought, ooh, I'd like to bake in those to make fancy boxes. So I ordered multiple sets.
So how much did it cost you, all of them?
I spent $60 this morning.
$60. Sorry.
Well, I ordered other things from there, but I got to 60 to get free shipping with whatever I was in. But I got a lot of really great stuff.
So this here is the last thing I'm going to show. This is a kind of like a press type thing. I didn't even open it, as you can see. So it's just, if you want, some people like to mark the back of their cookies actually. And so they'll press like their bakery name, so you can kind of set it in there. And the letters, I mean, this is not high quality stuff, but I mean, I don't think that even if you paid, a high quality price at another place, that you'd get anything necessarily better than this. It's like the letters are dirty.
I got that set, and I make these fondant gift tags, and I put happy birthday and the person's name on it when the cakes are too small for like lettering. I just make it look like it's typeset, and it works great. So if you have a shaky hand, have trouble piping, do a lot of smaller cakes that there's not really room to write on, those are fantastic.
So here I can tell you, if you do, make sure you got a quiet night, get your chicken scissors.
Yeah.
Or pliers that cut.
I used the wire cutters and just snapped them apart.
Clean them up, and then you just mount them on this thing, and you can customize and do your little labels on your cookies. So that's it for my end. And now the
Thomas on the way to the bank to get a loan. You've sent her to the bank already, Mar. I don't even know if I should show him all these fun things.
They don't slide easily on the holder. Maybe put a little Crisco.
Yeah. All right, I'm going to do the camera dance real quick, okay? Because I'm going to show everything under my low camera.
Okay.
Let me bring this to the front while y'all are talking. This is why everyone that does videos should have a tech person.
But the DJ, the turntables now is all in. I see the records actually at the TJ Maxx store. I saw records for Christmas. They were selling them.
Yes. Oh my gosh. Okay, are you guys ready?
All right, let's switch. So
I'm gonna do this. Oh, yeah,
It's
let me come back.
turn to show you her loot. So she went to the dollar store and she got a bunch of stuff for you guys.
Yes, and let me just start off by saying not all Dollar Trees are created equal. So please know the size of the Dollar Tree near you and go to a larger one. So I'm going to show you this quick because I don't want to spend a lot of time on this. But they have these in right now. These are the gummy octopus, which are great on summertime cookies. They don't have them all year, so I always grab some when I see them. Okay, then we've got Happy Hoppers, the little bunnies. Maybe you want a softer bunny than the chocolate bunny in the cookie we showed you a few weeks ago. We've got these. Maybe you want to make some geode cookies, but you're just practicing. You don't know if you're going to like it or you're going to like the texture. They've got 2 packs of rock candy that you can bust off and use this sugar on your geode cookies. It's Easter, so in the candy section, you can just pick up these small boxes if you just want some accent pieces. We've got eggs in this one, pastel M&Ms in this one. They don't have pastel M&Ms all year, so you can get those. And look, I wish Han was here, but look what I found, you guys. So this is the belts that Mar showed last week, the sour belts. This is rainbow flavor or rainbow berry flavor. Then they also have the solid. These are the ones I was familiar with because I get these and cut them up and make beach towels out of them on cookies.
Oh, that would be so cute.
But yeah, these are great for that, but I had never seen these, but now I know where to get them, so we're great. I'll be adding those to the unicorn sets. Okay, and so for those of you who just want to make a couple of those Easter baskets I showed you how to make, these are shorter. These are the perfect size for your cookies to make the handle, these little rope handles. If you only want to make a few, maybe you're not making, whatever quantity and you just want a couple, here we go with that. This at the dollar store, the marshmallows, $1 at the dollar store. I use these on circus sets to make popcorn and on cakes to make popcorn. I've done a lot of bridal shower sets of cake, cupcake, and cookies where the theme is she's about to pop. So we do a popcorn theme. They had all these. Also, have you guys ever used these for cornucopias at Thanksgiving? You take these out, get the ones that have the nice curl on the end, dip them in chocolate, then dip them in Nerds, and it looks like the end is already covered with fruit. They make great additions to the cookies, and they're good as cupcake toppers. So let's get that out of the way. Somewhere there's a box of Nerds. Yeah, so I dip them in these. I just get these from here, use them for that, and then, the kids really like that. I had never seen these before. I know other people get these all the time, but they had several different sprinkle things in the grocery section at the Dollar Tree. Didn't even know that was a thing. Also, summertime, I make some salted caramel cookies. I do it in the summer because I can hide the salt. This is super, super fine, almost like powder, pink Himalayan salt. But I can use this to make it look like beach sand on those salted caramel cookies. So this is a good way to accomplish that. You see what a fine grain that is for the people that want a salty cookie. All right, now I have a lot of loot, so we're going to go fast. These, I always pick up these little bags at the dollar store because these are great for like what Amber was showing a few weeks ago for painting. But the reason I get this bag is, and I don't know where I put them. I should have put them together. But the little art palettes like this? When I want to do watercolor with my groups, I drop, instead of everybody getting 16 jars of gel, I drop a couple of drops of gel that whatever colors we're going to use in here several days ahead, let them get dry. Then I pop it in this bag for my cookie kit. And then that way they have the bag that they need to actually do the technique with, plus they have the gel, plus they have a reusable paint palette, all dollar store. All right. Also, I'm going to save this one. In the dollar store, in the toy aisle, you can often find these really just cool texture things. There's some food safe putty on the market that you put together. So let's say you have a brooch or a ring or a button, or you're going to make a Lego cake. There's all kinds of things like this that you can pick up on the cheap and use with that putty to make your own molds. Still cheaper than having someone else make the mold, and maybe you just can't get the exact mold that you want. So always look for texture stuff like this, because if it's got good depth on it like that, you can use this to make great texture. All right, then I told you about these bowls a few weeks ago. These are the ones that fit in your hand so you can mix your color in, stir your icing. They're actually 3 in a pack for $1. They have all kinds of colors. But look at my new score. I always have to mix up about 5 of those bowls as I'm making cookie kits, because that's roughly what I need volume wise. Look what I found. Just the bigger version, but it's not so big I can't hold it. So these are 2 for $1 for icing mixing. All right, let's say you're going to mix toothpaste consistency icing and you know it's going to break down. I personally take those little bowls and I use the press and seal and I cover it and I let the press and seal go down on top of the icing, and then I just stack my bowls because I want to remix before I bag, right? Like if I'm coloring something, I might have to add a little more sugar. But look what I found yesterday, that $1 with the airtight, and these are very hard to get on and off with the airtight lids. So maybe you want to mix this up and pop it into the fridge, your colors, whatever, $1. And it's super heavy glass, also good for chocolate melting. So if you're going to be dipping strawberries or something, this is a good depth for $1. And it has the lid. Once the strawberry stuff is over or whatever you're dipping, let's say you're not going to do it again for 2 or 3 days, let it come to room temperature, pop that lid on, everything's protected. Maybe you're teaching cookie classes. This is in the home goods section. This is non-slip shelf liner, and it's just plastic coating. You can cut this into the little squares, wash it and sanitize it. This makes great shots. So for doing cauldrons at Halloween or pot of gold in the springtime, things like this are really handy to use. And then you just throw it out. You don't have to keep it, right? Let's say you're going to travel back and forth for class. I did not even get into all of the storage supplies that are available at the Dollar Tree that make your life easier. But this is just a great dollar pencil pals that you could be going to in-person classes and you want to bring your own things. Also great for storing toothbrushes in. So I just picked one up to remind you. Also great storage alternatives at the Dollar Tree. All right. Yes, you can buy the pre-cut parchment, but it's super, super expensive. If you're going to be doing a lot of flowers in the next couple months, just pick up a roll of this. It's 20 square feet. This would make you like, I don't know, 400 or 500 of the little squares for $1, right? I get this. I cut it down small, and that's what we do for our cookie classes so that they're ready to go. Also, I'm just going to say I paid a lot more for this a couple of months ago. This is a brush holder, or you can store your markers in here, right? You see this? And it just pops together. So it's great storage if you want to keep things out where you can get to them. If you use them a lot, you're going to want them out. Apparently, Walmart has these for $1, 49 holes. It appears to be the exact same one I bought for $3.50 a piece a couple months ago. I mean, even the stamp on it is the same, so it's made its way to the Dollar Tree. All right, let's say you want to watercolor or mix paints, mix your own watercolor cookie paints. We've got a lot of things going here. These are 3 for $1. These are perfect to store that in if you want to make your own watercolors after you break down the gels, right? Then we've also got these with the little squeeze lid. Maybe you like to put your water into your icing as you're thinning it with something like this versus squirt bottle. These are the size squirt bottles they have. You just have to clean these, sanitize them, and then these will be ready to go for when you're thinning your icing. Some people prefer this. They don't want to use a squirt bottle. That's great. We've got these great sprayers that are for liquid. So I keep a couple of these at my desk with Everclear in them. And if I want to do a watercolor technique where I've actually watercolored on the cookie, but then I want to spritz it with Everclear so that the coloring spreads out, it makes this really cool graffiti look. These are the bottles I use for that, 2 for $1. We're not even halfway there yet, guys. I'll have to talk fast. So brushes, we're going to come into brushes in a minute. Well, actually, let's finish this first because I can pull this whole thing over.
So if you guys are missing or just joining us, you can rewatch the live. It'll be saved on Facebook and on YouTube. Now Amy's showing us on the second half of all her finds from her local Dollar Tree. And you just have to go in with a different eye when you're walking through your local store, because they all have different inventory, and just try things that, you know, might translate to your cookie life.
So there's also a lot of good photo opportunities there, right? Props for photos. This is just a little 5-inch plate. It looks like a super fancy, like milk glass beaded plate. It's a plastic plate. This is great for me, so I will not break it. When you have leftover homemade sprinkles, these little containers, 4 for $1. These are fantastic. I have lots of these that I put my little specialty items in. Yes, you can get those craft containers that have like 16 storage spaces in it at the craft stores, but most of them are not airtight. This, you put a piece of press and seal over the top, snap the lid on. These things are good. I've opened them. They've been good a year and a half later, right? For royal icing and stuff.
Amy, those pump brushes, the little like spray brush.
Not for dry brush.
That's not good.
No, because they don't have the proper filter in the middle. They're great for liquids, but they are not good for dry dust.
Okay.
Although some of the companies that sell dry dust sell you like, I think you can get like 3 for $5. So they're still not super expensive if you already own diamond dust and you want to switch to pump. They're not super expensive, but they're not dollar store price either. Okay, I'm going to skip this one for a second. Now, remember, I also teach cookie classes. They have these really cute little throwaway disposable spoons. I don't know why, but I'm telling you, when I put these in kids' kits, they feel like they're getting something super expensive with these little silver spoons. They're in the catering aisle. They use them to do their sprinkles, and we throw them out, right? Also, let's see. These are little like Tapas mini containers. These are great to just use when you're doing in-person cookie classes so people can cut their sealed sprinkles and just dump them into these. These are 12 for $1 each person with three different sprinkles. It's a great way to organize what you're going to use when you're decorating cookies. I have triangle ones. I have these little square ones. They have all kinds of things on the market, but that's 12 for $1 at the dollar store if you're going to be putting them into kits or whatnot. Toothpicks. Of course, you need toothpicks if you want to have for doing toothpick roses. This is a great size of this. It's 2 for $1. I think at Walmart, there's maybe a little bit more toothpick in this size container, but it's like $4 now. So 2 of these at the dollar store for $1. That's fantastic pricing. Also, these make great scribes. I tend to get the bamboo skewers for the kids to use, but you certainly could use these. All right, now let's say you've done all that cool painting I told you about, and we'll circle back to some brushes, but you need to clean those brushes. I actually clean everything except my dry dust brushes, and I'm going to show you what I do with those in just a minute. But you can't always get that stuff out of your brush. This is just a little silicone scrubby. So can you see that one? And then in the nail section, they've also got this one. These are fantastic for cleaning and getting all the stuff out of your brushes because it's just a little surface to work in. These work fabulous. But this actually was 2 for $1, and this was in a it's a brush cleaning, makeup brush cleaning kit, but it's perfect to use for your watercolor brushes. Okay, let's get rid of that. Now let's circle back to this. Okay, so in the makeup section, they have this little deal. If you, let me show you why I wanted to show this to you. This is basically to get new people started on the cheap, right? You can always upgrade. I have these fabulous brushes that I love. These are dry dust pump brushes where you fill it with whatever you want to put in here, your luster dust or whatever. The lid comes off, you use this end and you pump it in, and then you do your whole cookie. Like if you want to glitter up your whole cookie, these are like $15, $16, $18 a piece, depending on where you get them from. So here's a fun thing in the makeup section, and this is synthetic, it's not animal. Basically a good way to know whether you've purchased an animal hairbrush or not, which you really shouldn't use with food. But a good way to know whether you've purchased those or not is if they're super expensive, right? Those are much more expensive brushes. This is at the Dollar Tree. It's, I don't know what it is, blush or foundation, something. But on the top, it's all separated, right? This is all sealed off. And you've got this nice duster brush. This is so soft, it will not crack your cookies. So you would just clean this and sanitize it, and you have a super soft, big duster brush. Duster brushes by themselves are usually $6, $7, $8. Now, I haven't tried it. I'm not going to do it. But if you were really so inclined, you could probably dump all this out, sanitize this, and clean it, and put your glitter right in here, because then this screws back on. So I just don't know if it seals tight enough.
Glass bottle?
No, it's plastic. It's all, the whole thing's plastic, But this is synthetic. I did make sure that these were synthetic brushes because I wouldn't want to use animal hair brushes on the food. I've just heard some stories about that.
Good idea, though. I like that idea.
But it's so soft, and think of what you could do with that if you wanted to. A buck, right? And it's a great powdery brush. You don't have to worry about cracking the cookie. All right, in the baby section, you can get these bottle cleaners. This obviously will not work on your tips, but if you pop this end off, usually they separate. This is great for larger tips, to clean your larger tips. But I'll tell you the funniest thing. I went around to like the car parts aisle in my shopping trip. They have this same brush where the plastic part is black, and this brush is marketed to clean your tires with this. It looked like the exact same brush. But this end would be great for doing tips with. And then at one point in time, I got a bottle brush that had a teeny tiny like cone shape end that's good for our cookie tips. And then this end is more like for cleaning cake tips. But
I've actually used that brush to actually paint the cookies because it's so hard.
Yes. Okay.
A different effect, you know?
We're going to go there too. So this is actually a denture brush, which is great to hold and easy to flick. These are the super, super stiff bristles if you want to do splattering. But regular toothbrushes these days, the soft and medium are almost too soft to get a good effect with. This is the super hard. This is the denture brush. This is also very good for texturing if you want to texture fondant, okay? All right, then, you know, crafting tweezers can be $6, $7, $8 a piece, depending on what you get. Yes, you will want to upgrade to those, but if you just want to get started with something, you've got several options on tweezers. You've got these itty bitty ones if you're more comfortable with that because you want to keep it really close to your hands. You've got these larger ones. All of these will work. Just clean and sanitize everything and then dedicate them to food usage, okay? But you can
know how would you clean that brush?
That brush will be just like I do all of my paint brushes. I'll actually clean it. I'll do regular soap and water, and then I'll sanitize it, and then I'll let it air dry, and then that's how I do all of my brushes. Okay. And the only brush, what I was going to circle back to is because the product is so expensive, when you're doing gold, you know, when you're using it, the alcohol evaporates. So I used to try to clean that brush, and you really just can't get the gold and the silvers out. No matter how much you clean it, you just really can't ever truly get that all the way out of the brush. And it was then coming into colors when I would paint. So you see these toothbrush holders? These
that's a good idea.
I just keep my, I have a container on the side. I'm not going to move it because there's stuff leaning against it, but I have one for gold, one for silver, one for rose gold. And then I have dedicated brushes for those when they're totally dry. And then I've blotted them on a paper towel to get as much out as I can. Then they go back into their storage container. So there's no risk I pick that up in a hurried moment and use it for something I shouldn't use it for, right? Like try to make pink and then that gold comes out, or black, and then the brush is ruined for using it with gold, right? All right, if maybe you want to clip off the tips of the top of your bag after you've cut it. These are just cute little bag clips that you can use, $6 for $1, just to liven it up. Yes, there are things on the market. There are quilter clips, things like that. This is my dollar store haul, okay? All right, I also like to do sculpting in fondant and modeling chocolate. This is fantastic. You see this?
Seriously,
this looks almost exactly like the fondant tool that sells for $15. You see? And it's sealed, so it's food safe, and it's metal. You're good to go. All right, this is one of my favorite things ever in the cookie world. I have one fancy mermaid spoon because it makes me feel happy when I use it, but baby spoons for the win always. And look how many's in this pack. So this is 12 in a pack for $1. Now, remember I was talking to you about painting? So you see these deals here, these mesh strainers? These are something you put down in the sink to catch things like maybe when you're peeling vegetables or whatever. This baby one fits perfectly on the top of those bottles. So remember we talked about making gel colors and how they clump up? So then here's my coffee filters, which also make great catchers when I'm doing sprinkles to pour back into the container. But one of these coffee filters over one of these, I'm making my own paints. I pour it through here and strain it. It's sitting on top of the bottle, so I've got two hands to work with. These things are fantastic. I don't know. Somebody will use this for something, but $1, this is still much better than buying the funnels. And because this fits and I can put the coffee filter over it and get a good flow. It doesn't back up on me. Also, you guys.
Jennifer wants to know what you're doing with the baby spoon.
Baby spoons I use I don't like to put my fingers in the sprinkles or in the nonpareils just because I like to touch things the least amount possible that someone's going to be eating, even if I have gloves on. So I use them to scoop my sprinkles.
Okay.
I'm sure there's a million other uses, but that's pretty much where I am with those. So look, great zester because it's totally flat. This is from the food aisle. Now there's a couple high-end cookiers that are always doing YouTube videos. They actually found some pretty cool whatever for doing feet. And then they use those little fine ones to make edible moss and potting soil and stuff like that, right? But this is actually a food and it's flat. So you're going to get, you can, what do we call it? Straighten the sides of your cookies. Let's say your cookie has a little too much of a blowout and you want to square it up. This is great because it's flat. The one I like to use a lot has a slight curve to it. I like it because it's a thinner grading area, but this is great if you just want to straighten up your cookies, right? $1. These are $8, $9, $10, depending on where you get it. Okay, are you one of the peoples that your cookie gets a hump when it comes out of the oven? You just need some way to flatten it out. Oven mitt on this hand, this on the other hand, give it a little push. Sometimes a spatula isn't big enough to do the job, right? This also is a great cookie lifter if you need to get it off. It's also great if you're going to hand cut rectangular dough. This is great to cut dough with. We use these in our store to cut half-pound fudge slices with. They work fantastic both to cut with and to lift with.
Or to scrape dry royal icing off of your counter.
Yeah, I'm sure they do. I haven't had to do that yet, but yes, I'm sure it works for that. All right, so rulers, you guys, if you're going to be using a ruler anywhere in your bake area, you should be using a plastic ruler, not a wooden ruler, and especially not a wooden ruler that has that metal strip in it. First of all, most states won't let you have unsealed food items in your bake area, right? Unless it's certain things and they can be sanitized like rolling pins. But those wooden rulers that have the metal strip, they can get a lot of bacteria in there. So you just really shouldn't want to use them. These are super easy to clean up. 3 for $1. Come on, that is super easy. It's great for when you're hand cutting cookies because you can put it right on the frozen dough and run your pizza cutter. And I did not buy a pizza cutter, but they were available at the dollar store, but I already have 6. So just know they're there. They're great to cut frozen cookie dough with. This is a pack of 6 of the paint palettes.
Oh,
for $1, and I use these in my cookie kits. They're fabulous for that. Also, I really like these because unless you're using the metallic in them or a really dark color, they don't stain, so you can keep cleaning them. Also great for cookie kits. If you don't want to buy these, in bulk from a supplier, they have the little 4-inch by 3-inch resealable bags that you can load sprinkles into, or maybe wafer paper cutouts, whatever. But it's a good way to prep ahead of time these little bags, and they do have multiple sizes. I just bought one because this is the one I happen to need, but they come in multiple sizes. It's a great way to get your cookie kits done ahead of time. Now, we all love those super fancy bead trays that have the little funnel return. Do you know what I'm talking about? Like when you're doing sprinkles. So here's a hack from the Dollar Tree. This is an activity tray. It's about the same size as our bead tray. So if you don't want to spend 6, 7, 8, whatever, those are all different prices depending on where you get them from and whose brand it is and what logo. This is a great starter kit for you. The reason I like this is because this is an inch tall wall on the side. So if you're going to be using nonpareils, if you've used them any amount of time, you're going to know those things bounce all over and come back to you and go away from you. This is great because if your cookie's in the center, you're doing them, they bounce. This tends to catch everything. And then what you can do is just go to the corner and then use a coffee filter to put it in and then return it. But this is just great to keep everything together. This actually does work better than a small baking sheet on keeping your sprinkles in one contained area because the walls are straight up and down. They're not slanted at all, right? So this is great. And it's $1. Now, here's the thing about everything that I'm showing you today. Once you upgrade, and you will want to upgrade because cookies are going to reel you in and you're going to be hooked for life. Once you upgrade, you just pass this along and get somebody else interested in cooking. You know, if you pass them 10 or 12 or $15 worth of cookie tools, just enough to get them started, then you'll have somebody to cookie with. These are great little
She's
scissors.
making friends for you too.
That's right. These are great little scissors if you like the tipless bags because they're very sharp.
Yes, yes.
So one pair of these is better than like using the same pair of scissors for everything that you're doing scissors with, right? Dedicate these to bag cutting. These are super sharp. Okay, so then we have this little guy, and I'm going to show this to you because this is crafting aisle. This is great. Super sharp scribe on the end, right? It's very pointy. So this is a great scribe, but it's better even as a fondant tool or a modeling chocolate tool. You've got the scraper on this end. You've got texture right here if you want to make some texture. I'm not sure if you can see that. Can you see that on there? That?
Oh, yes.
And then the sharp, right? $2 for $1. This is a great way to just get something started if you're doing kits. The other thing, I started out using the bamboo for my kids' classes when we were in person. When we get back to in person, I'll be going back to this because I don't want to teach them to be using a lot of that wood with the food. And also we had just started building the little kids toolkits. This is a great texture tool. It's a ball on this end, a ball on this end, but this end is small enough that you can use it for a scribe and it's safe for a kid, right? Because it's not needle sharp.
Oh, that's
right? So
yes.
this is my go-to tool for the little kids when we start building their kit when we have in-person classes. They really like to receive something. So there was yeah, they like this and they can hold it. It's got grippies, it's cleanable.
Yeah.
That's great.
It's called a ball tool. People are asking. That's a ball tool. Usually what I've seen people use that for is for nail art.
Yes, it is. And this was actually in the crafting aisle. I don't know what you really use it for in the crafting aisle, but it looks exactly like some of the fondant tools that I have. But I actually picked it up to use in the kids' cookie kits because I thought, oh, this is nice and safe. Okay, so there's this little kit for $1. This is, again, this is meant for nails, but look, this is a great fondant tool or modeling chocolate right here, right? These are the only 2 pieces that I bought this kit. I would not use any of this. This is not going to be food safe because of the kind of sand that's on it. Obviously, you don't need those. I have not figured out a use for these yet, but I wanted to show you.
It would be good to clean up that that stamp thing I had.
This might work. Yes. So I bought it to show you. I've got a couple different ones to show you, but this emery board is great for roughing up your clear silicone stamps if you're going to be doing stamping on cookies.
Yeah, watch last week's live, last Tuesday's live.
And then this is fondant, okay? This is a great for like doing flowers and modeling chocolate with this. And of course, all of these things, guys, you just have to clean them and sanitize them ahead of time, and then you have to dedicate them to only food. Also, I do this a year ahead of time, but they often have extremely cute packaging at the dollar store. This tin with the bunnies would be so cute if I wanted to do this. Probably would fit 12 to 18 of the mini bunny feet cookies. So just if you're in there, or you could do the tails and the little feet on those mini cutters like we did a few weeks ago. But they have great packaging, super cheap. And then the great thing for new cookiers, if you want to use something like that, you don't have to buy 48 of it. Just get 1 or 2 and see what happens for your sales, right? It's just a great way to get started. Okay, makeup aisle. Another one of the brushes. This is another super soft, just dust with it brush, okay? And it stands up. There's nothing fancy on the bottom. So I bought it to show you, don't look at everything just one way, because this, you can look at it and just use it for a brush. That other one, if you take the time, you also have a holder for your glitter in the bottom, right? Both $1.
So when you say you sanitize, Jennifer would like to know, could you elaborate on your sanitize?
Yeah, any of these things, I clean them. Like every brush that I get in, whether it's coming from a food company or not, everything gets cleaned. And then we have a
using like a detergent. Are you using
it's two things. It's 2 things. And June, if you're on here, drop the link in. June will drop a link in if she's on here of a great sanitizer that you use at the end that you do with your counters and products like that. I'm in a bakery, so we have a solution that we have to do that's certain parts per million for something to be sanitized. It has to be dipped in that and then allowed to air dry. It's totally different than just using detergent or palm olive. So you can Google that. There's a lot of good videos out there on that, and that will help you understand the difference in those things. The main thing I cannot stress to you enough is do not take something you've been using for makeup or some other purpose, crafting, and bring it to your food. These things have to be bought new and dedicated to food after they've been sanitized properly. And also check what you're buying to see if you see any reviews or any reason not to use it. And obviously don't use brushes that are so cheap the bristles fall out, because whether it's an animal hair bristle or not, which I've told you really don't use those, but even if it's synthetic, you don't want to use a brush that's falling apart. So you will find better things as you go along, even in the dollar store, but there's perfectly good things in there. And Mara, I know you're going to love these.
Oh, yes.
Magnets. This is to do stenciling with for that odd cookie that just doesn't really fit within your stencil holder. You can still do your stencil holder and then put the magnets on top. I mean, do the stencil on top of the cookie and then put the magnets, and it weights it down. You know, it's not food safe to use coins, I don't know, other heavy objects to weight these things down, right? These can also be washed and sanitized, dedicated to food use. Obviously, don't go grab something off your refrigerator that everybody's touched and then throw it on your stencil and then use it, right? You have to store these things properly too. But look, this is 12 pieces of the larger size for $1 and 14 of these little guys for $1. And I'm having trouble pulling them apart.
Well, these are great too, because you can have them in like I have a metal board and they stay there and I don't have to look for them. It's one of the few things I don't lose.
Yes, but no one's using them for anything else, right? That's the point.
No, I use them only for that. And the other thing, I use them to weight down. Like I use a lot of paper stencils, and so it's a great to just weight the thing down so it doesn't fly away.
Now, I have not done this yet, Mar, but I have seen a lot of YouTube videos on this. This is a pack of 12 plastic combs for $1. A lot of the higher end cake artists buy these so that they're single use only. They wash them, they sanitize them just like they're washing and sanitizing the dishes in the bakery. And then they use them on crusted buttercream to make different textures, or they use them on fondant to do different textures. Some of them even paint with these if they have a crisscross look they want to achieve. But 12 in a container, you use it once, you can throw it out. Obviously, you can wash it, sanitize it, keep it, but 12 for $1, if I were doing this, I would just be pitching these. And all of these would not work, right? You're going to have to pull out the ones that are straight across. So the whole pack is not useful, but more than 8 of them are in this pack. That's why I grabbed this one to show you. And there's YouTube videos on that. Also, the nail brushes. I really like this little one. I like this little one because you can hold it and do your
flicking.
Yes, that's what I was trying to think of. Sorry. You can do the flicking motion with this. This is stiff. This is even more stiff than that denture brush. But the great thing is, if it's ever been the middle of the night, you're doing Easter egg cookies, you're doing robin's egg, and you're doing that speckling. Have you ever gone to do a brush and all of a sudden your brush hits the cookie? The whole cookie's trashed, right? Someone eats that. You don't sell that. This is great, especially when you're tired. It's hooked on your hand. You're doing this. It's not going anywhere. For people that have a lot of accidents like that, like myself, there you go. Okay, I have no idea what I'm going to use this beauty for, but this is a dispenser pump. So you actually pump it. It's for liquid, and you pump it. I don't know what I'm going to use it for, but it looked too interesting not to grab it. It is definitely not for dry dusting, I don't think, but I could try dry dusting because it's so thick, but it's probably for a liquid. I don't know what I'm going to use it for, but there you go. Maybe one of you already has one.
What I've seen that used for is let's say a face toner, and you would use your little, cotton sponge that the little, you put your face toner and then pass it on your face, type thing. I think that's what kind of
I think that's what it's for, because it came from the cosmetic aisle, but it just looked too interesting to pass up. So I bought one. It may be one of those things I never ever use, but it looked interesting. All right, these emery boards, These are great for roughing up your stamps, and then you can just throw them away because you don't need to tear your stamps up, right? You just need to rough them up a little bit, or at least that's what I find works
You
well.
tear them up, yes. You try not to damage them as
Yeah,
you're.
you just want to give a little edge to it so the ink sticks better. All right, here's some more options on brushes. This one is makeup aisle. This one is crafter aisle. So lots of things you could use these for to get started, because obviously everybody wants to upgrade their brushes as they're going along. You find things that you really like to work with. Like I showed you, if you were at Cookie-a-thon Saturday, I showed you my two very favorite Wilton brushes. They're go-to for tons of stuff that I do. But there's also a place for things like this, and these are great if you're putting class kits together for people. So again, think about this from the standpoint of getting started. Different emery board option. The ones you don't want to use to rough up your stamps are the ones that have the metal. You absolutely don't want to use those. Look at these brushes, guys. These are makeup aisle. They're synthetic, so they can be washed and sanitized. Of course, you need to allow them to fully dry. This is metal. This is plastic, but look how soft that is. I mean, you get the point from that, right? It's so soft for dusting with. This is a great brush. A lot of people spend $6, $8, $10 for cheek brushes. This is a fabulous brush for using with the dust and doing cheeks. It's the perfect size. Then you could dedicate this with your luster dust for cheeks so that you don't mix up the colors. All right, we are almost done. I think we already did the spray bottles, right?
You did.
All right, so when you're painting, until you get something nicer to hold the brushes and the brushes are wet, here's two different options. These are ashtrays. Your brush is wet, you just set it on there because you're going to be going through the cookies and then circling back again. This one holds 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. This one, oh, and this one holds 5. So you've got two sizes of plastic ashtrays that can be cleaned and sanitized, both from the dollar store. And then you can put your brushes on that. Cleanup is super easy afterwards. And let's see. Okay, in the floral aisle, everybody's into those llama cookies, right? And baby shower cookies. These, for your packaging, this was 3 yards for $1. Sometimes you just have to hit it when you go through there. You have to look every time. I've never seen the llamas before, but I bought a whole bunch of them because we're going to be doing llama cookies this summer. But aren't those so cute? And then baby shower, I pick it up every time I see it just to make my little package toppers myself. It's much cheaper to make those yourself.
Like you mentioned too, like in the case of her llama ribbon, if you look at the design on the ribbon, you could tie the design into whatever you're going to do on your.
Yeah, because look how cute this little guy is. Can you see the face?
So
and there's cutters that are out there. Yeah, he's so cute.
Yes, adorable.
And okay, craft aisle. I think this is probably for storing beads. This is what I store in mine. You guys know I love the wafer paper. So airbrush, I'm ready. I've got fish scales, mermaid scales, whatever I'm going to use my little dots for. But I do a whole bunch of them ahead of time. Each of these little sections on those little half-inch squares, there's more than 100 little circles already made up, ready to go in this. And I have several of these. Like I do my heart ones that I like to use on mermaid tails. Those are in a separate container. And always when I'm already making something, I make a whole bunch more of it so that I have it for the next time. Or if somebody sees a post on Instagram or Facebook and they go, oh, I want that cookie you just made, I don't have to break all that out again.
So Gianna's asking, when you use your dollar store paintbrushes, do you find that the bristles fall out?
Yeah, you definitely have to circle through the brushes and see which ones work for you because they don't all work. They're not all created equal, even at the Dollar Tree. There are some that are great, and I'll buy like 5 packages at one time. I'll see which brushes are good. I do that pulling test, right? Sometimes I even trim them if I'm going to be using them for a certain project. Some of them won't work and they move on to my craft room at my house, which is fine. But the ones that I do like, while they have them in stock, I go back and I buy a bunch of them immediately, either to use for class kits or to just replace my supply as I throw them out. Because I do really like a couple of my Wilton brushes that are all completely plastic, right? The brush and all of that, the part that it attaches to is plastic. So I find myself navigating to those more, but those are kind of expensive for new people. All right, so this is cheesecloth, and all of this was in a bundle for $1. This is fabulous to get a denim design if you airbrush through this. It does a great denim design. You can also strain with this, but it's not as good as using the coffee filters because it's not as
Yeah, the point.
fine.
Food grade. The cheesecloth is used, if you aren't aware, it's used in the kitchen. So this is food safe.
Yeah.
The
And
cheesecloth.
it makes a beautiful denim pattern on here. And I don't ever wash it and then reuse it because it's so cheap. I just keep a couple of bundles of these, use it, and then throw it out. I don't even try to wash this because the price is so affordable.
I
Okay,
used it actually and did like a burlap.
oh yeah, burlap would be great with that too. Okay, one storage thing I picked up just because I needed them, so I'm going to show you are these little guys. It's 2 for $1. These are the perfect size for your little gel colors. So you can, as you start accumulating more gel colors, which is bound to happen again because it just happens, it just migrates to you. Then you've got some nice containers, and I've got a little 3-level shelf off to my right that all my colors are on. So I started using everything more once it was organized and I could find. Okay, so this is another little, this false eyelash applicator. It,
Oh,
do you see it? It's like tweezers. I'm not going to take it out because I'm actually going to give this to somebody that wanted it. But it's great for modeling with doing modeling chocolate or doing fondant. This end is tweezers. So for some people, this is a really great little tweezer for the big ball candies. Like if you want to put sixlets on a cookie, they like this a little better. I like it because it's rounded and so closed, and using it, you can do some really great stuff with fondant. All right, now I'm down to my last 2 things. I know there's going to be a debate, so you guys just do your own research and decide what you think about it. What I have found is that the issue that you're about to hit me with here is whether it's food safe or not. As best I can tell from the research I've done, these stencils are just same kind of stuff you can cut stencils with that we cut stencils with on the Cricut or the Silhouette, right? However, there's a big debate on whether it's food safe or not. It's like non-toxic versus being FDA approved type situation here. As best I can tell from the research I've done, the issue with these would only come into play if you heated them up. It's not the contact of this plastic onto a food for the amount of time you're airbrushing. It's whether the heat, so that the chemicals and whatever in the different plastics from these stencils or the other stencils we use, it's whether that is affecting your cookie. So they've got some cute things back there. And now let's say this, you have a Cricut, you have a stencil machine. These are great to pull in and get some ideas from to use Procreate and then design your own stencils, right? This is also just good for looking at it for sheer art purposes and saying, you know what, I probably need 2 or 3 different birthday stencils. Let me make my own set. So you've got lots of options here too. I don't do a lot of these on cookies, but I picked them up because I know there's a big debate right now about these. And I just wanted to tell you that the research that I've done on them so far, it is not, it has to do with the heat and whether the chemicals transfer if they're heated. But for what we would use them for as cookiers or cake artists, that would not be an issue, right? You'd be using them and cleaning them. But I will tell you, they're super thin. This brand particular is super thin, so it's not going to hold up for stenciling or anything like that. This is much thicker even than the stenciling material that we typically use and what Mar has in our Amazon shop for stencils. They're thicker, but really I thought, okay, this is just something. I picked this one up because I have to pipe a bunch of soccer and basketball soon. And I didn't want to just take a picture and walk out with the picture. So I just spent the buck and picked this up because I wanted to make a design for what I'm going to be piping. And this one, I just thought, oh, it's happy birthday. It's cute. We'll see if that can work something in with that. So that is my scores. And listen, I have hundreds of other things that I've gotten over the years from the Dollar Tree, but they don't have them right now. And, you know, a couple of weeks ago, we talked about if you do classes to pick up a dozen of these guys because you can use your tipless bags in here. And then this guy for your larger bags, if you're doing a big bulk of cookies, this is a very heavy weighted glass that you can put the large tipless bags in so you can have both hands free to load your icing and maybe cut down on some of the messes. So for today, that is it on our dollar store scores.
Oh my gosh, Amy, that was thorough. When I said we were going to do this, I didn't expect you to buy out the whole dollar store.
Well, some of this is going in prizes. You know, I'm going to try to switch my camera real quick. I do prizes every month in our club, in our Cookie Rookie Club. So I actually picked up things that I'm putting in packages of like 10 things in a package for the drawing that month.
Well, that's very nice. So where do they find your Cookie Rookie?
Cookie Rookie is well, right now, Cookie Rookie is just for the people that are in my local area because I like to spoil them. They actually pick up their cookies already baked, their icing already done, and new tools for their toolkit every month. So that's more for local people. If you're watching and you're in Culpeper and you want to join, we have class this weekend. There's still time to get in on that. And if you guys are on this feed on either my page or Marlyn's page and you have other dollar store finds that have like changed the game for you, please post them. Add them in there. People want to know. It's fun to do this every once in a while, right? So I don't know how many items I just showed you, but I will confess I hit 2 Dollar Trees because my Dollar Tree was not kicking it for me this time. They did not have as many things as they normally do. And since I was already out and exposing myself and had to do the double gloving, double masking and all that mess, honestly, my shopping addiction kicked in after being locked up for so long. So I went to the one in the next county over that's a whole bunch bigger than mine, and got things from both of them. So this is just a way if you're new and you're like, oh, I have to have all the things, you don't have to have all the things. You just need what you need to get started. And then if you want to upgrade, then go ahead and upgrade, but then you pass your tools along and make a cookie friend and bring somebody else in.
So if you enjoyed today, check out Amy's class there and support her because she wasn't sponsored by Dollar Tree. She picked all that stuff to show you guys.
Yeah, you can replenish the coffers a little bit, please. And exactly. Sheila's posting about the whiteboards. There's a great YouTube video up, you guys. If you take pictures of your cookies, the core board that's $1 a piece. Yep. There is an awesome video out. You'll have to search for it, but there's an awesome video out of a lady that took 6 of those boards. She laid them all on top of each other, and she used duct tape to make them so they operated like a fan. And then she used contact paper and made different scenes on each one. So she just goes over to her photography area. Her board, her big 2 foot by 3 foot or whatever it is board is laying there. And then she just flips it up to get to the scene she wants. And she's ready to go on her pictures. So she is building a beautiful portfolio. And all of the things she used to coat her board, she bought that at the Dollar Tree as well.
Well, I want to see that video. So you put that somewhere so we can see that video.
I will look for it. I will look for it. It was really cool because she has like 6 different photo prop backgrounds that are her go-to.
Great. That's
awesome. So what happens is she uses 1 roll of contact paper, comes all the way down one board over the duct tape, and then out this way on the bottom board. So when it flips up, it looks like one continuous roll.
Yes, exactly.
Really great idea.
A full layout.
Yes.
So I'm going to do a little spiel. So the Easter is like really around the corner. So we've got some cookie decorating kits. Everything is like in the box. So you get the cutters, the cookie dough mix, the royal icing mix, everything is in there. That's at Global Belly and globalbelly.com. The thing is cut off there. I can see at the top, but if you want to check that out. And thanks so much for watching today.
Yeah, so much fun.
You can rewatch from the beginning where I showed some AliExpress finds. Amy shows all of her Dollar Tree finds. And next Tuesday, we'll be decorating once again. We have not discussed what we're doing yet. Brainstorm later.
What do you want to do?
Join us. She mentions a lot today, the stamping. She did stamping last Tuesday. If you want to rewatch Tuesday's video. And what the heck did I do?
You did... oh my gosh, I can see it. I just
I can't even remember.
I did that stamp cookie and I showed you that number 60 or 80 or 70 Russian piping tip, that ruffle tip.
I don't remember. So you can watch that. I don't remember what I did, but I decorated a cookie. So thanks for joining us. And we'll see you next Tuesday. And on Friday, Han is demoing a vegan royal icing.
Oh, cool.
And I'm not sure what Amber's doing, but I know that Hannah's doing vegan royal icing. So if
you're off Friday, are you going to be manning the controls?
See, Tracy's saying mushroom cookies. That's it. I airbrushed the bunny.
That's right. That's right. You did the mushroom with the bunnies and you did the shielding and the stenciling. Yep.
So it was airbrushing. On Friday, I might not actually be there because the pandemic has made it very difficult to get a haircut. And so I'm taking my son for a haircut. We booked the appointment a month ago, and there's only room during the day. So he's actually missing school to get a haircut, but he looks like he might be homeless. So I'm taking him for a haircut.
We have made so many adjustments to our schedule because of the pandemic, right?
Exactly. Exactly.
Oh.
Thanks, Amy. That was awesome. Thank you so much.
You.
So
I loved all the alley gadgets. And thank you. My wallet thanks you. It's gonna have another run with AliExpress this afternoon now that I've watched all that.
Thanks, everybody. We'll see you next week. Bye.